According to God, the white man is the devil.
See, I've been in here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk a lot. They like to claim leadership. They like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority. They don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this white man. Stop the ass shit. Give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Everybody ain't with all that peace talk. Everybody ain't with all that bygone shit. Stop the ass shit. Promise. My niggas serious. When they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, where the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. You cash down on your blood, traded you in and bought a new beast. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I say you won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed he up for parole because of the COVID. It feel like the hoes in this world that don't go together. Nowhere is gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the score never settled. Yeah, see the prophets. I'm tired of these.
Rise no more, Babylon is falling, Babylon is falling, rise no more, rise no more, Babylon is falling, Babylon is falling, rise no more, rise no more, falling, rise no more, rise no more, fight for your house, fight for your house, round to go, round to go, Babylon is falling, Babylon is falling, rise no more, rise no more, falling, rise no more, rise no more, Babylon is falling, rise no more, rise no more, Babylon is falling, Babylon is falling, rise no more.
Jesus Christ had a word, nigga. Yeah, I'm just playing. Yeah. I'm tired of living here like a slave while rappers without a drop of some talent been getting paid. I'm in complete disbelief in the state of the game. It's like you gotta be a half a faggot just to get paid, and that's so lame. But this is Lost Tribes, niggas, so remember the name. These rappers buried alive like Undertaker and Kane. And then I'm coming back just to cremate your remains. So if you can't take the heat, then step back from the flame. You got a lot more to lose, man, it's something to gain. Cause I will prop a nigga out like he ain't fit in the frame. You think you fly, knock your ass out the sky like a plane. That's all the way to violation. Showing no mercy like a cop with a taser. Chuck when I talk like my tongue is a razor. Lyrical gladiator, rap assassinator, verbal manipulator.
It's important for me to graduate Hebrew Academy. It's important for me to graduate Hebrew Academy so my brothers can see the strength that can pull them out from the hell and condition that they're in.
Like being the only nigga who's hooked inside the matrix. It's the auto rap and the rules of engagement. The game needs changing, I'm here to rearrange it. If I want to take it back to the basics.
Deliver the scroll! Deliver the scroll! Faster! 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 Deliver the scroll! Deliver the scroll! Faster! 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 Deliver the scroll!
Until it's time to us to come a murder from the pavement and then leave a hole in the game so big they can't repay it. These hold my heads like this was limbo. Get these rappers in the yard beating them like a Kimbo. I'm riding with my kinfolk, follow my methodology. Black and blue opponents faces like cosmetology. I issue no apologies coming for rapper salaries. My team runs shit like we out here burning calories. Bring a tear to your eye, lie, you say it's allergies. But it's cause the flow out this world touching the galaxy. Niggas rapping like girls, they ain't follow my policy. I was raised in the era, we had to rap reality. Had to really live this shit, was my mentality. Now the game flooded with fakes and they crowded me. Better not cross that line, watch a boundary. I.S.U.P.K soldier, but rapping is like a hobby. Lions and wolves with me, roll the dice on Jumanji. Rappers say they own their job, but not Harley. If you ain't got no job, man, you like Tommy. I know cats let that full ring like Audi and leave their head all wrapped up like a Saudi. But I ain't never been no killer, no armed robbery. I just like to move down squares like Monopoly. Now I don't smoke no more, lungs, they work properly. I don't even push no pills, I push prophecy. Respect this aristocracy, giving rappers lobotomy. When I'm spitting, I hear them niggas getting their glossary. Check the wordplay, realizing ain't nothing stopping me. Your only option be when I'm round nodding, acknowledge.
You got it. Hey. Come get his leg.
Good job.
Let's go.
Come on.
Right here.
Deliver your scroll. Deliver your scroll. Let's go. Let's go. Bring your brother home. Bring him home.
Come on.
And under his wings shalt thou trust.
That's what you went through this trial for. You went through this trial to be covered by Yahweh our power. You understand?
That's right.
Now you were covered in the spirit of the Lord. We walking in this body and going to do amazing work. You brothers, man, fought through a lot to get to this point. Every man can't make this. But boy, oh boy, what you went through to make this is just insane that you was able to do it. Go ahead.
Count out of Wakar, the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day.
From this day on, brother, whatever you feared before you came through this trial, you fear it no more. From now on, you put your trust totally in the Most High. The power given to me by Yahweh in the I.S.U.P.K. I hereby declare you official priest of the Most High Power. Barak.
Who's the power? Who's the power? Who do we fear? Who do we fear? Who's your king? Who's your king? What's your name? Israel. God, give a time.
Congratulations, warriors. Congratulations.
We're about to present the class of 2022 Hebrew Academy to Commander General Yahanna for the blood of my brothers. The men you see before you are the men who's given the privilege to teach these men and instruct these men under Commander General Yahanna's strict tutelage. You understand? In warfare, in spiritual warfare. All right? We're going to bring these brothers in, show them some love before the angels. You brothers dismissed.
Let's go! Fight for your house,
Go get her, big stepper, hard body, one West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas, certified one West hitters. Whoa, go get her, big stepper, hard body, one West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas, certified one West hitters. Whoa. Yo, what you say? No, we don't play you around. Whoa, what's your name? Watch what you say.
Hebrew Academy class of 2022. Listen to my command. Right time. Saw. The mighty Shabbat. Imagine how if I could. These brothers went through almost 8 months of cruel, rigorous mental training. And these brothers want to give you something, so. The men with the gift of tribute, one rank in front of the stage. Move. One rank. Or go on the cross. Bow them up. Come to the right side of the stage. Officer Kalakaza. Present Commander GEN.YAHANNA with the first gift of tribute. On the right side of the stage. If I may, sir, this is a Savage bolt gun, 308. Nice. Yes, sir.
The water argument, the water. I see y'all know what I like. Water.
Next gift. Let's go. Oh, y'all go line up on the other side with the gifts. Line up on the other side.
Correct.
Let's go.
As you look around you and you see every one of these brothers, you sloppy. Oh wow. Oh man. Man, this is beautiful.
If I may, this is handcrafted forged steel from Officer Amanga Bar out of Minnesota. This is work right here.
God damn, that's beautiful. Where he at? Okay, coming up. Okay. Oh my God.
If I may, sir, this is GR-20, this is GR-22, 6 shooting crossbow, extra.
Most high, hey, the water, I'll give the water. Good. I'm ready now. I thought I was ready, but now I'm ready.
This right here, sir, all solid steel, sword, with a red emblem in the middle, handcrafted steel for you, sir.
Most high and Christ, son. The water. Hey, I give it up, y'all. Look at that, handcrafted. Let me say this, y'all know what I'm gonna say. Of course, I don't deserve none of this. But our great and holy King have honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man, it is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, do we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved, man?
This is the last gift, y'all, right here. From the brothers. It's a portrait of all the generals and the heads of the Israelite school and university, Brother Gunnar.
Most high in Christ.
Salaki, one head, Salaki, I apologize.
Most high in Christ.
Hey, Rakam, tell them to set it off, Rakam. Shalom! What are your fears? What's your name?
to rise no more.
Go get her, big stepper, all body one West rapper. Pull off of my king, my niggas, certified one West hitters, roll. Go get her, big stepper, all body one West rapper. Pull off of my king, my niggas, certified one West hitters, roll. Just a mud, you begin to pick it a little. Now my name ring bells and you talking to hitters. Nice nigga, but don't make me transform like Thriller. Sam to the nigga, beat out and walk by the river. Go get her, you kiss her, you get off of the shitter. Can't put you.
Nobody selling you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it's worth something.
This is Black Watch with Commanding General Yahanna, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he make man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
We don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Black Watch. Let the show begin.
Let us give all glory and praise unto the Most High and our holy King. On which none of this would be possible without him. If you wearing a stud, a fringe, a border of blue, if you know your identity, if you know your tribe, if you know what Hebrew is and can speak a Hebrew word, it was given to you by your holy King Yahushua. King David said he would rather be a doorkeeper in the kingdom of heaven than to be anything else in this world. I'm paraphrasing. Our King Yahushua has used us just as he ought to, like a bunch of screwdrivers and wrenches and tools, to build the greatest kingdom on the face of this earth. Through the mercy and grace of the Lord, we will build this kingdom now. I've been doing this all day. I gotta thank KKK and his amazing team that pulled off the 2022 Hebrew Academy. Y'all did an amazing job.
It ain't easy coming into this truth. It's not easy to learn how to be a brother or a sister when you come out of a world living in madness and evil and hatred towards your own brothers and sisters while loving the enemy. Right. It takes strong, strong men and women to break the bonds of slavery and bring us back together to be one and fight through the forces of evil to make us one family, man. Many of us sitting in this room lost brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and everything to get up in here to be called the Hebrew Israelite. Many, many sacrifices was made for thousands of years for these records called the Bible to be preserved, man. Many, many men have lost their lives hoping that a man of God would come along and grab hold of these records and stand up and say, I will teach God's word. And you stand up and saw that Hebrew Academy, it almost brought me to tears. I can't understand what the hell you doing in this room, goddammit. And worse than you in here. What the hell am I doing in here? Somebody forgot to show me the directions to my grave, to my jail cell, to my crack house, to my murder victim. Instead, we found the truth and found a path to fix what was broken, to fix what they said could never be fixed. The 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel. And these men that we will honor today, these precious men, these precious, precious men of God who sacrificed all that they had to get through this academy and to become men of God, they deserve this honor tonight. They deserve this honor with extinction. And with that, I just first want to say congratulations to all the generals of the I.S.U.P.K. for leading I would like to recognize every single captain in this I.S.U.P.K. Phenomenal bunch of brothers and sisters. And every officer, every troop.
Yeah. What's going on, Israel? ISUPK.com is the website, Commander General YAHANNA. Hey, I just wanted to jump in on a couple small topics. Up in here, we Officer Murad doing it up. A couple of topics, man, but I want to get to Kevin Samuels for a minute as it relates to the scriptures and how, how such a mistake that was. You know what I mean? Not to thrash on the brother. He's passed away. He had his time. He did whatever he did. But for the greater good of the nation of Israel and our people, we should look at this mistake and see exactly what was supposed to happen and why this mistake went the way it was and why so many foolish sisters were caught up into that, and so many brothers also who thought that it was wisdom that he was touting to brothers. I'm going to show you in the scriptures where it was totally not wisdom that he was touting, in that how it was so against what the Lord considered, a woman that should be with a high value man. And a high value man has nothing to do with money. That's the problem. A high value man, according to the Christian church, has to do with money. But a high value man, according to the scriptures, is far more wealthier than just the money that he has. He may be wealthy. He may be poor, but that's not what really counts. I think you know where I'm going with it. But before I go there, man, something happened today. It came on the news 5 a.m. last night. Something came out 5 a.m. last night that was earth-shattering and went under the radar of everybody around. And I'm gonna let Murad give me that article on the Treasury Secretary, and let's reveal something that the Israelite school has been bringing out for years. First of all, big shout out to Captain Kahan Thumyard, because many years ago, Captain Kahan Thumyard pulled up at that time a DVD. It was a DVD that was put out by a researcher of some sort. Y'all remember that? You remember that, right? Ma'afa 21. It's probably on YouTube now if you haven't seen it. And it was very controversial. One, because of course we've been teaching for years how dangerous our children are in this society, under the hands of Esau, and in many cases under the hands of sisters who have been brainwashed in this kingdom to go against the way of the Most High. So this Ma'afa 21 explained how horrible children were being killed in the abortion clinics under the hands of Black and Latino women. The Israelite School of UPK, we've maintained, one, that it is against the Lord to murder your baby. Two, that you are being brainwashed by this empire to kill your babies. Three, that the Lord is returning to forgive you if you've done it already. And if I could give a big shout out to the brothers on Monday night who brought out, was it Monday Night, Morale, that they brought out about the whole vacuum cleaner thing? I was shocked at, if you haven't seen Monday Night show, it was a hell of a show that they put out on this very same channel, and brought out how some sisters said that they cannot use a vacuum cleaner in their house. And they can't use a vacuum cleaner because the vacuum cleaner sounds the same as the suction cup that sucks the fetus out of a woman's vagina during an abortion. The first thing, sister, you got to do, let me explain something to you. The first thing you got to do is understand that Christ died for our sins. You must understand that. If you don't understand that Christ died for your sins, then you will never forgive yourself once this issue comes up. As this issue comes up, you're going to have to realize that you've been forgiven so that you can now turn around and be on the side of fighting against any other sister doing it. If you don't do that, then guess what? You're going to become a sister who fights for abortion rights, even though deep down inside herself, you can't even turn on a vacuum cleaner. You can't even turn on a vacuum cleaner because of what happened, the tragedy of what happened, that you was brainwashed into, and you don't even realize you was brainwashed into it, and that's why the Lord will forgive you for it. But you must get past that hurdle so that you can become on the righteous side of the Lord and battle against it. And Lord willing, have more babies. Whether you can have babies or not, there's going to be we're going to be adopting babies, rescuing babies. The white man come on TV every night talking about how he rescued them dogs. I told you they run it on a loop on my cable channel. On a loop about these dogs. Save these dogs. These dogs, they show the dogs shivering and hungry and chained up in some filthy place to raise your compassion for those dogs. But they don't raise your compassion for the babies that are murdered every day in this kingdom. So I know I put y'all on the cliffhanger for a second. But this week, yesterday, the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America, now just so you can understand what this position is. This person is the person responsible for making sure that the economy stays afloat in this empire. And this is the richest country on the planet. So to sit in that seat as Treasury Secretary, you're dealing with an extremely powerful position and an extremely high responsible position. The Treasury Secretary has to speak up when there's an issue that could create damage to the United States economy. Damage to that economy could destroy the country. The Treasury Secretary must step in and say something and enact certain rules to make sure that the economy of the United States does not fall. Well, she stepped into last night, and Marah is about to read an article that is colossal in my sight. And I know this, not only does this validate the Israelite school of UPK and the brothers who committed themselves to this work, but it also reveals to you the Lord is merciful. He is revealing to you in this article some things about the world you live in that you never, ever understood and you didn't want to hear us tell you. Come on, hit it.
Khan. Treasury Secretary warns of damaging economic effects of limiting abortion.
Read that again for me, Marah, please.
Treasury Secretary warns of damaging economic effects of limiting abortion.
Do you hear that? Did you hear what Officer Marah just read? Officer Marah just read that the Treasury Secretary claims that if you stop having abortions in the United States of America, blacks and Latinos, you will destroy the American economy. And I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna do like the scriptures do. Salah. I'll just tell you to pause for 1 second. Think about that for a second. There should be, you know how they take a moment for mourning? You know how they give a moment of silence, Marah? That's what the hell needs to happen right here, a moment of silence. The Treasury Secretary just said that if blacks and Latinos stop having abortions, it would destroy the economy. Marah, please read that article for me, please. Because I think people are going to think I am lying about this right here. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Tuesday warned of the potentially damaging effects that curtailing abortion access could have on the country's economy.
Damn. So if you cut the abortions, you're going to mess up the economy. Go ahead.
Khan. If I may.
Please.
As tensions mount nationwide over a recently leaked draft Supreme Court opinion repealing Roe versus Wade.
Now we know why they didn't want to leak it. Go ahead.
I believe that eliminating the right of women to make decisions about when and whether to have children would have a very damaging effects on the economy and would set back decades.
Would set the economy back decades if you stop killing your babies. Wow. Wow. If that's not ancient Egypt, I don't know what is. If that's not biblical prophecy, I have no idea what is. Give me a little bit more.
Khan. And would set women back decades. Yellen said in testimony before this.
Wait a minute. Go back if you don't mind, Marah. It said effects on the economy and would set women back decades. But what they're saying is it would damage that economy back decades. They don't give a damn about women. Go ahead.
Right. Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. Yellen credited the landmark 1973 decision and consequently increased access to reproductive health, reproductive health care and abortion as instrumental to increase labor force participation nationwide over the years.
Wait a minute. Marah, please read that one more time so I could understand it clearly what is being said here.
Yellen credited the landmark 1973 decision and consequential increased access to reproductive health care and abortion as instrumental to increase labor force participation nationwide over the years.
So wait a minute. Marah, are you saying that because of abortion, they were able to raise the economy by having a greater labor force? Is that what I'm hearing? A greater labor force which built the economy because you murdered your baby. So the empire is more concerned with labor. So all of this talk about abortion rights, you can bring it back to me for a second. All this talk about abortion rights, all this talk about a woman's right to choose, all of this talk about that, when really this was about slavery. Let's be real. Murad Salakia, I got to ask you to read it one more time because I don't think this has digested in the souls of blacks and Latinos what we are saying in here tonight. They are admitting, once again, pressure makes a hot water pipe bust. That's what the old heads used to say. You put enough pressure on a situation and the truth about it will come out. And that's exactly what the Lord is doing with this kingdom. He's putting pressure on this kingdom. And he's putting pressure on it, which is creating things to come out. See, they wanted to do it quietly. They wanted to repeal the abortion quietly. Somebody leaked it. The Lord let them leak it. What they were trying to do, for those of you that may not know, they were trying to repeal a woman's right to abortion. I'm not going to get that specific on it. But they were in the Supreme Court trying to reverse a woman's right to abortion, trying to make it illegal so that a woman could no longer have an abortion. But they tried to do it quietly because they knew if it had gotten exposed, that it would have created a big stir. It got exposed. Somebody leaked it. The Lord wanted it, which created, protests. They're protesting right now in front of judges' homes. You got hundreds of people out there with signs screaming all day in front of judges' homes. The judge in the house don't even want to come out the house because they screaming about how dare he vote against their right to have abortions. That was the Lord exposing it and putting pressure on it. And now they need help. So the Treasury Secretary had to come out and give them some help. They need a reason now to not do it. So the Treasury Secretary had to bust out yelling and tell them, you would damage the economy. And what Murad just wrote is saying you damage the economy this way because all these women would go home and raise their babies. Women would go home and raise their babies, and the American economy would suffer because of it. How evil is that? How amazingly evil is that? So these women can't be home, can't have babies and raise up families, because if they did, the empire would suffer. The empire's money would hurt. Now you know the real reason of population control. Population control isn't about not enough food. Population control is about you not having babies so that you could work to build the empire. Man, oh man, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. If you go home and have your babies, Elon Musk can't be rich. Jeff Bezos can't be rich.
Right.
Donald Trump can't be so rich.
That's right.
Because they won't have enough labor to make all the money they want to make. So your baby has to not be born. You have to be brainwashed to believe you got to wipe your baby out for your career, when all you really doing is making the empire rich, not yourself. Like, what a shame. And it is a shame that, boy, we should wake up. We should wake up and see how we're being handled in this kingdom, man. Go ahead, Murad, please.
If I may, sir, that's so heavy because a lot of these sisters getting abortions because of what America is lying to them about. America is saying, you need this money. You need your life to be together. You need this, but really, America needs it, if I may.
Brother, what you said is so right. If you can, Murad, if you can. I mentioned this last week, but if you could find the video, I don't know if you can, but if you could find the video of that East Indian congresswoman who got up and spoke about abortion and how she had an abortion and how it was such a good thing for her to have, I forget her name though. She got a real East Indian name. You just put in Congresswoman speaks of her abortion. Maybe that'll bring it up. But boy, oh boy, if you could bring it up. She talked about how she had an abortion to get her career off. Now, this is a heathen. It doesn't even matter. But the fact that black women every day, Latino women every day are killing their babies not to become congresswomen, to work at Amazon, to work in the Amazon warehouse, to work in the Chuck E. Cheese or some other menial job to survive. They kill their babies. That's her. And I think that is the tape. I'm almost certain that's the tape. Let me know when you go to her, Mara. Matter of fact, could I get a cup?
I don't want con, sir. I'm about to play it right now if you want to.
Yeah, please. Switch me off for a second.
I don't want con.
Chairwoman Maloney and Ranking Member Comer, thank you for inviting me to speak today. I speak to you as one of the 1 in 4 women in America who have had an abortion. And for you to understand how I ultimately decided to have an abortion, I have to start earlier with the birth of my first child, Janak. Janak was born at 26 and a half weeks while I was on a 2-year fellowship living in India. They weighed only 1 pound, 14 ounces, and upon birth went down to a weight of just 21 ounces. Janak was so small, they fit in the palm of my hand, the size of a medium-sized squash. For 3 months, we did not know if Janak would live or die. They needed multiple blood transfusions, had to be fed drop by drop, and constantly had their heart stop and start. We returned to the United States after 3 months. In those early, intensely difficult years, Janak had hydroencephalus, water on the brain, seizures, and repeatedly returned to the emergency room because of life-threatening pneumonia. The fact that Janak is a 25-year-old beautiful human being is a true miracle and the greatest gift in my life. At the same time that Janak was born, I was also fighting to keep my legal permanent resident status, married to a U.S. citizen with a U.S. citizen child now. In the end, I was able to return to the United States with Janak, provided that I started from scratch to qualify for citizenship. As a new mom taking care of a very sick baby and recovering from major surgery myself, I was struggling. I experienced severe postpartum depression and post-traumatic stress disorder that was only diagnosed after I contemplated suicide and realized I needed to seek help. My marriage did not survive. We split custody of Janak, and I was a part-time single parent. Shortly after, I met a wonderful man who is my husband today. I knew I was not ready to have another child, so I religiously took my daily contraceptive pill. Despite that, I became pregnant. I consulted with my doctors who told me that any future pregnancy would likely also be high risk to me and the child, similar to what I had gone through with Janak. I very much wanted to have more children, but I simply could not imagine going through that again. After discussions with my partner, who was completely supportive of whatever choice I made, I decided to have an abortion. 2 decades later, I think about those moments on the table in the doctor's office, a doctor who was kind and compassionate and skilled, performing abortions in a state that recognizes a person's constitutional right to make their choices about their reproductive care. For me, terminating my pregnancy was not an easy choice, the most difficult I've made in my life, but it was my choice. And that is what must be preserved for every pregnant person. Until 2019, I never spoke publicly or privately about my abortion. In fact, I did not even tell my mother about it. Some of it was because as an immigrant from a culture that deeply values children and in an American society that's...
I don't know. Sometimes I think, I know we are an intelligent bunch of people. I pray that you was able to get all of the points that was in that tape, because I'm going to mention them now. That is a disgusting human being that believes that they are benevolent. First of all, she went through all that trouble and the child is alive. The child is 20-something years old. And she went through all that trouble with that child and the child lived. The child didn't die. The child lived. So all her struggle made her say later on, and the doctor saying you're going to go through this again, made her say to hell with that, I'm going to kill the next baby. When this one lived, she said they didn't know whether he was going to live or die. Later on in the thing, she turned around and said that, with her struggling finances, she didn't know if she was going to make it to Congress. That's the spirit of this place. And that's how a heathen talks about this. And listen, and in that tape, you heard her say the reason she wasn't speaking up about it before was because her culture, them East Indians, they didn't believe in abortion. So she didn't mention it even to her mother because she wanted to hide it from their culture. That's why we're destroyed. We don't have our identity and culture. If we had our identity and culture, our women would feel guilty for trying to murder their babies. But instead, we got the mindset of the empire that tells you you shouldn't feel bad about murdering your baby. Black people, Latino people, you got to wake up and see, man. You got to wake up and see that she had the baby. The baby lived. She went through hell to have the baby, but the baby lived. You understand? And listen, and that doesn't represent the majority. She said 1 in 4. That doesn't represent the majority of women that have abortion. They're not having abortions because they're having difficulty pregnancies. They're having abortions because they don't want the obligation so that they can go out and make more money under the brainwashing idea that you're going to be something great in this empire. And did you hear the other part of what she said? She also turned around and said that she thinks about it every day when she laid on that table. That's the part they don't tell you. They don't tell you that it haunts you, man, for years and years later on. They don't tell you that part. They don't care enough about you to tell you that part, that you're going to think about that for years and years and years later, man. Which is why, black woman, you got to be forgiven and you got to be healed. And you got to turn back to the Lord and stand on his side. God is against abortion and the murdering of the Lord's children, man. When it said that Pharaoh went to the midwives, the scriptures say the midwives feared the Lord. The empire is trying to get black women and Latino women to not fear the Lord when it comes to killing that baby, to feel free. You heard the selfishness in her voice when she said, it's my choice. The baby ain't have no choice. That 26-year-old kid that she got, he ain't have no choice. But he lived because she decided to let him live. Who the hell is her to decide that the other child should die? Who the hell are you to decide that part, man? And now we find out the full truth. Now the Lord brings it full circle that really all of this is about labor. And here's something else. Read between the lines, my brothers and sisters, on this. Read between the lines. If black women go and have their babies, right, go out on maternity leave or decide not to come back to work, If it ruins the economy, what does that tell you about the population? You need more people, right or wrong. If women having their babies will harm the economy, then you need more people so that the women can go have their babies and then you can have other people cover that job. What kind of madness are we living, man? What kind of madness are we dealing with? Meanwhile, everything is population control. How are we going to feed all these people? Bill Gates, that genocidal maniac, a child of eugenics. Margaret Sanger, who believed in killing off, unwanted babies that they thought would be unproductive, which is so like a slave master. He don't want no slave. They do that with greyhounds. They had to create certain laws for dogs in states where they had those greyhound races. You know how them greyhounds do the dog racing? Those greyhounds have to be specially bred because they have to be able to go maximum speed. They got to be a certain weight when they're born, certain height. They got to develop a certain way. And what greyhound trainers were doing was this. The dogs that were not the best out of the litter, they would turn around and get rid of the dogs. They would just kill them and throw them in the dumpster. So right after a dog had a litter, they might take 2 dogs out of a 9-dog litter. And the other 7 dogs, instead of giving them away or anything, they just cut the throats and was throwing them in dumpsters. To where they had to pass laws like, look, y'all killing all these dogs. How come? And they said, well, these dogs could never be top-notch race dogs. Even though they're healthy because the breeder is breeding the parents healthy to have race dogs. But the ones that don't come out like race dogs, they just kill them off, throw them in the dumpster. They don't give a damn. So they have hundreds of dogs in these dumpsters after they have these litters. That's how America treats you. If you can't come labor, then what's the point of breeding you? In their mind, you should get in that abortion clinic. And to get you in there, they gas you up. They gas you up. Your career. It's your right to choose. They know you women are rebellious and dumb in many cases. They know it's a natural thing for a woman to come up against a man, to jar against the whole male-female thing. But they weaponized it against yourself. That's something that goes on in relationships. You in a relationship, you joke with the female, she joke with you. That's part of your courting before marriage. They know that's in you. Satan knew it was in you in the garden. That's why he came to Eve. And they used it and weaponized it against God's chosen people. And now it's my choice. My choice. I got to be allowed to murder this baby. And it's sad and shameful and just a horrible damn thing to see. Horrible to see. And so it's really about the economy. Now, can I add something else to it? Boy, I'm going to add something else to it. This might get us banned on YouTube, Marah.
Right, sir. Cut on my con.
But let's go back and revisit how they weren't only just killing the babies. They're selling the body parts. Like Frankenstein. Like not only are they killing the babies to make sure that you labor and work hard, but they also insanely, I mean, it's just crazy. Selling the body parts. Give me the tape, Marah, please.
It's like, sir, of the heathen that we was just watching.
No. It's give me one of those other tapes that you have of them selling the body parts from those YouTube tapes. Those emails. Say again.
Is this it, sir?
Yep, that's it. Wait till y'all see this.
This week, a group of...
Yeah, there you go. You got it. Wait till y'all see this here.
This week, a group of abortion rights opponents released a hidden camera video of a conversation with an official from Planned Parenthood. That's the nonprofit organization that provides reproductive and other health care services, including abortion, to women and families. Our political director, Lisa Desjardins, screened both the edited and unedited versions of the video and reports on the footage that is causing a political firestorm. A warning, some of the images and details in this story are graphic.
This is the edited version of the video with the undercover anti-abortion group's added graphics. On screen is Dr. Deborah Nucatola, National Medical Director for Planned Parenthood. Off-screen are two anti-abortion activists who spent months posing as medical researchers looking to purchase fetal tissue.
You know, I'm going to throw a number out. I would say it's probably anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on the facility and what's involved.
The undercover team later asks about buying specific fetal parts. A warning, this excerpt is graphic and may be disturbing.
It makes a huge difference. I'd say a lot of people want liver. So then you're just kind of cognizant of where you put your crossbars. You try to intentionally go above and below the thorax so that, you know, we've been very good at getting parts on liver because we know that, so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see that get out intact.
The legal question here is Planned Parenthood, provider of 40% of abortions in the U.S., selling fetal tissue? That's illegal. But donating fetal tissue or recovering your costs from such a donation, that's legal. And it's part of a fast-growing medical research field. Some cells are used to help patients with immune diseases.
It is, bring it back to me, Salakia. It is, they said it's a growing industry, selling your baby parts, as they put it, to recoup the cost of the abortion. And did you hear how she said, I'm not going to crush certain parts? Like, and she knows when she going to have that, give you that abortion.
Right.
And reach up inside you, she said certain parts she ain't gonna crush as she rips the baby out, because she know those parts you want to buy. So it's damn near like you buying parts to order. Brother, this is madness. You buying parts to order, like you go to an auto parts car and say, like you go to the junkyard and you say, yeah, man, I need an alternator. And the mechanic go in under the hood, he find one of the junk cars that match your car. He go under the hood, he unscrew the alternator and sell it to you for a few dollars. That's how they treating black women's fetuses. She going in there, you think you just having a routine abortion. She already got your baby's parts sold. Before she ripped it out of your body, she got the parts sold. Okay? I'm getting texts now. I'm getting they texting me like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" Like, that's crazy, man. Give me another one, Marah. Marah got a few of them. I'm sorry, y'all. I love black people, and many other people love black people as well. You understand? And in the UPK, we love blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, man. And here's the bombshell. It was sisters who brought us these tapes. It wasn't brothers that found these tapes. It was sisters who found these tapes and brought these tapes to us. I'm saying, you can take it off till you're ready, Marah, off screen.
Planned Parenthood is set to open its new...
Like, that's crazy. You ready already? Just let me know when you're ready. Okay, because you are on screen. Or are you? Or you off? Or you off? Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. Do your thing. So that's insane, man. They selling your baby parts before you even kill the baby. Like, it's an economy. It's about their money. That's why the empire is the richest country in the world, and you are the poorest. Because you didn't trust in the Lord. Instead, you trusted in them. You think they're right. And you Christians in the church, you are leading the charge. You are the monsters of Black and Latinos, man. You leading the charge in okaying this behavior and this lifestyle. You are leading the charge of it. The molestation and the evil going on in these churches are horrendous. And these Black women are being desensitized to their bodies, to their life, to everything going on with them. And as a result, killing their own babies, man. Crazy. You got it? Go on and hit it.
Newest abortion clinic tonight, an 18,000 square foot facility secretly erected in southern Illinois. It's equipped to provide services, we're told, to 11,000 patients annually. Correspondent Leland Bittert here now to tell us how this came about. Leland?
Well, Shannon, what's most notable, as you point out about this clinic, isn't that it exists, but where, why, and that it was built in secret under the code name Project Alaska, named Alaska, but built in southern Illinois. Less than a 20-minute drive from St. Louis sits Planned Parenthood's newest clinic. The women's health provider gave CBS News a tour of the facility that will accommodate 11,000 patients a year.
The truth is that our patients want easier access, and for some, the 13-mile drive from our St. Louis clinic to this Illinois clinic isn't.
To me for a second. They building a mega abortion clinic. Like you build a mega church, they building a mega abortion clinic to make sure that they can kill out of one of those abortion clinics 11,000 babies. So the money is good. Business is booming. They need bigger facilities. The mom and pop abortion clinic ain't turning out enough product. They had to go mega on them, Mariah. And you telling me they ain't making money off it? That's why those undercovers went undercover and did what they did. And then, listen, they built it under a secret name to try their best to throw everybody off so they can get it built, so they can bust out with it. And guess where they built it at? 20 minutes outside of St. Louis. Who's all in St. Louis? Blacks and Latinos. And they built it 20 minutes outside because they want you to be able to be comfortable, where you be able to ride out there comfortably and get that abortion. Now, if you want to start clocking numbers, Planned Parenthood gets $500 million from the United States government. Plus, through medical procedures, they receive up to $450 per abortion. Calculate that by 11,000. Somebody got a calculator? Post it for me. 11,000 times $450 a pop. Now, that's on the front end. Go ahead, Doc.
Colonel McCon, sir, that's 4,950,000. So like it's 4,950,000.
Say it again.
4,950,000.
4 million? You sure about that?
Colonel, that's just from this facility that you said, right?
Wait, I'm asking, are you sure about that calculation?
Yes, sir. That's just from this building.
That's just from this building.
Yeah, the one that you just
the
said.
One that we just pulled up.
Colonel McCon.
How much again?
4,950,000.
$4,950,000. It, huh?
4,950,000. Almost 5 million.
950,000. Almost 5 million. Almost $5 million. Now remember, that's on the front end. That's not on the back end from the body parts. The body parts, they're going to do as good or better on the body parts. So on the body parts, you're going to clock probably another 5 million or more. We're talking $10 million facility for killing Black and Latino babies in St. Louis. Ain't going to be a Negro in St. Louis. You give them enough time. You ain't going to be, it won't be enough of us in St. Louis if you give them enough time. I mean, that's crazy. $10 million off of our babies, Frankenstein. And they telling you there ain't no money. Go ahead, Marah.
If I may say,
and one facility. One med. Oh, that's what you going to select. I didn't mean to go, Marah. Go.
No,
go,
you got it, sir.
Go.
If I may, that's just one building in St. Louis, and you can imagine how many, at least 4, I would say at the minimum, a city 4 facilities. But that's, I mean, it's more than 4. We know that for sure, but at least 4. So that's 20 million. I mean, or at least, because that's 5 million. That's 20 million a city. I mean, it's just
no 40 million if you go count the front and back money.
and back end. That's just
Right.
the front end.
That's just the
so
front
40
end.
million a city. That's at the minimum. A city all across America.
All across America. We talking billions of dollars. That's why they said it would hurt the economy. It would hurt the economy because they making money off of the fact that you killing the baby, $10 million in one facility. And on top of it, they're making money because you're working and laboring for next to nothing in some of the richest companies in the world. So they make, I mean, slavery is great business in America in 2022. And not St. Louis. St. Louis ain't even a major city. And remember now, St. Louis already has abortion clinics all through St. Louis. So for them to build this facility on the outskirts of St. Louis, like any business, it means the demand is too high. The demand is so high that they got to build a mega site, even though they got multiple sites already. And that don't include what happens when they go to Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Houston, Texas, Miami, and Orlando, Florida, and so many other major cities. We talking billions. We talking billions in these facilities, man. And they subsidized by the government. On top of that, subsidized by the government, and I could be wrong, but they might be a tax-exempt nonprofit organization, which means they may not pay any taxes on top of it. We need the power from the Lord. And that's
right.
Go ahead. That's why listening to anybody else except the Israelite school, UPK, is just plain old dumb. Because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm gonna pull up something real quick if I could. This was brought out about 2 years ago. All right. Let me just bring this out. Okay, this is on YouTube. This was brought out by Boyce Watkins. You know him. Well-known PhD. You know, I don't endorse the cat, but he brought out about 2 years ago that they did a study. And according to the study, that if black people, if we continue on this trajectory, there would be no black people by 2053. There'd be no more black people. According to the study, they said at the rate we're dying and killing our babies, there would be no more black people by 2053, according to their calculations. This is crazy, crazy talk. You got one more video for me on it?
I do have another video, sir.
Give me on it, please.
I just got to check and make sure it's on it.
All right.
But I do have one more video, sir.
Let's get that last video and then we'll move on to Kevin Samuels and talk a little about Kevin, huh?
Khan, sir. Also, too, we had a question online.
Okay.
On topic. A sister asked, Salaki. A sister asks, is that the cost for a year or a month?
Well, okay, according to them, the facility is going to abort 11,000 babies per year in that facility. So that amount should represent a year. 11,000 in that particular facility in 1 year, in 12 months. So that's roughly, it's a mega site. So that's roughly, just so you can know. Oh yeah, you don't need to pull that one. That's the one I just mentioned. Is that one I sent you? Okay, yeah, that's him talking about the population. We don't need to pull that one. The water too. You have any other ones? I think you might. No, that's it. It was 4 of them, wasn't it? Got all 4? Oh yeah, one was the article though. Okay, we done on it. Okay, just to answer that question, they in other words, they plan to abort about 800 to 900 abortions a month. So we talking, what is that? About 200 plus abortions a week. Which when you break it down to a day, that's why it's such a big facility. You break it down to a day, 200 abortions a week. What's 200 divided by 7? 20 or 200 divided by 7. Add 2 zeros to it. I ain't got let me pull it up on my calculator right quick, just to give you all the numbers out there. 200 divided by, well, I'll give you 6 days. That's 30. That's, yeah, that's about 30 to 35 abortions a day in that facility. That's the plan. The plan is to be able to go in there and knock out 30 to 35 abortions a day. That's a lot of abortion, which will amount to about 200 abortions a week. 200 abortions a week, 900 abortions a month, gives you 11,000 abortions a year. At 450 a pop, puts you in almost the $5 million range. Then they sell the body parts on the back, get another $5 million. Then of course they get a little piece from the government as well. And the government does well because you keep working. We've been played in this place, man. We've been played here. This is an evil thing being done to us, man. Go ahead, Murat, please.
If I may, sir, it's literally 28 and a half abortions. So 28 abortions, 29.
28 a day. Gives you 200 a week for 6 days.
I did 7 days. So
Yeah,
6
go
days.
6 because I think they close on Sunday, are they not?
More than likely, sir.
You know they
33.
got that Christian Sunday.
God, oh my God, sir.
After they done killed all them babies. Go ahead.
It's 33 abortions a day.
So 33 a day. That's a lot of killing in one facility. You multiply that by every major city in America, we talking about 350 abortions, probably 350 abortions to 400 abortions a day. Black and Latino women been brainwashed in this kingdom to kill their babies. On an amazing level. On an amazing level. You understand? And that's why you've raised up a cruel woman. You've raised up a cruel woman because you've allowed the world to brainwash her into killing her babies for the greater gain of the empire. And so you have no societal breakdown. You have a societal breakdown in the Black community, in the Latino community. It's a societal breakdown. And the sisters don't know better. They have no idea. They watching TV, and the TV is teaching them all the lies. But thanks be to the Lord, he raising up prophets of the Most High in the I.S.U.P.K, who's revamping the mindsets of these sisters by showing them all the evil that's being done to us in the dark. Okay, now let me get a scripture or two, Murat. You gonna give me what you gonna give me on this whole abortion thing? And then I'll go on. Like I said, then I'm gonna get to Kevin Samuels and that madness that took place that was so popular among men and women. Once again, another bad idea. Another bad idea on how to have relationships. You know what I mean? Once again, Kevin being an ex-Christian where you learn nothing in the church. You don't learn a thing in church. And probably more than likely had given himself to that homosexual lifestyle in an attempt to either make money or repent and reverse what happened to him, which a lot of brothers did. He also confessed that he had a heart attack. That he caught cancer. He's an ex-cancer patient or recovering cancer patient. And that, in many cases, will make you change your life. And so it appears as though he saw that he had cancer and could lose his life, and decided, I better get right with God. And so left the homosexual lifestyle, if that's the case, according to some reports, and then went on to try to have relationships with a woman. And then went on from there to try to give women advice on how to get a so-called high-value man. And of course, black people and Latino people ate it up, thinking that it was dead on right and it was the way to go. Some brothers just loved it because they had just been tired of evil black women mistreating them. Some women hated it because they felt like he was disparaging women from going after, rich men, period. And he peppered it with scriptures to sort of make it somewhat, biblical. But it was all wrong. It was all wrong. Mariah, you holding abortion for me? Tell me where you going.
Con, sir. Also, a sister posted, Just Art and Paint, said abortions this year, 15,311,953, according to CNN.
Wow.
15 million abortions.
Wow. And I can guarantee you that a ton of those are our people. A ton of that is our people. And that's what keeps the labor and economy rolling. Okay? Big reason the economy took a hit was because during the pandemic, you were stuck in the house with your woman. Couldn't go out, couldn't go to the club, couldn't get, couldn't call and go to the restaurant. So it wasn't a whole lot to do but, watch TV, cook at home, and deal with your woman. Go ahead, Doc.
Make a baby.
Make a baby. And then they couldn't have you abort the baby because it was too much of a risk that you would get the coronavirus. So they had suspended the abortions in the empire. They suspended them. And a ton of women had their babies, man. And it's also why a ton of women did not go back to work. Because now they had this baby, they're ready to take care of the baby. So that's when Esau turned around and started all the work-at-home jobs. Now you can get all kinds of work-at-home jobs. Some sisters left jobs they went to work every day to and got a work-at-home job making more money than the job they had when they were going to work. And so when you call, the utility bill company about your bill, sister answered and said, hello, hi, Pico here. How can I help you? While she talking to you, you hearing in the background, you hearing a little baby crying in the background. That's that pandemic baby. And I don't know, some of these pandemic,
That's right, sir.
And let me tell you something else too. That's amazing. These pandemic babies, because their mothers were forced to take care of them and to be there for them, these pandemic babies seem to be developing super fast. They talking earlier, they walking earlier, they learning faster. You understand? Of course, the conspiracy theorists talk about Esau put something in the vaccine and all this. No, man. It's just called motherly care. For once in their lives, some of these sisters were able to get a break from Esau for a long enough period of time for their child to bond with them, man, properly, and develop the confidence to learn and to grow and to walk and to talk in a what they would feel is a safe environment because they were with their mom. Some women were with their mom even while she's at work. She's working on the phone, and the bassinet is 2 feet away from her. And let me tell you something else that researchers came out with and said. Researchers came out and said that a baby that receives no emotional expression from its mother develops less than a baby that does. They did research on it. That's why they said they were worried about the mask, because the baby couldn't see the mother's emotions and expressions during the mask. They was also worried about that mask when they started to go to school, because the child couldn't see the emotions of the teacher in her face. So for all you mothers out there that love the cuckoo in your baby's face, you're developing your baby. For those of you that like to kiss and smile and joke and respond to your baby when she's looking at you and joking with you in the bassinet, according to researchers, which we knew from the scriptures, that was the Lord. That's you developing your baby, which is furthermore proof that at 3 months, you ain't supposed to have to abandon the baby and go back to work and put her in some place where she's not getting that attention. But in this kingdom, you have to, because of course it would damage, according to Yellen, Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, you would damage the economy if you have those babies. You would hurt the economy if you kept them babies, man. This is insanity, man. This is this world right here. You wondering why we praying for Christ to return, man. Better hope Christ return and fix the madness here. It's crazy. I didn't mean to divert, but go ahead, Marah. What you holding?
Makan. So this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward the young one that cometh out from between her feet.
Damn, the young one that cometh out from between her feet, she would become cruel to him, man. That's the biblical prophecy. That's the Lord caring for you, man. That's written down. Moses wrote it down for us to study it so that we wouldn't get played like we got played right now. The Lord had them records kept for us so that we would go back to those records, look at those records and say, damn. We were told this would happen once we left the Lord's statutes and commandments of the Most High in Christ. We were told we would get played by this. And that's exactly what happened. You holding something else before I move on?
Just a little bit more, sir.
Go ahead.
And toward her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly.
Wait a minute. It says she shall eat them for the want of all things. In 70 AD, when Titus surrounded Jerusalem and came down and marched on it and starved us for weeks on end, we ate our babies. But we're eating our babies now. If you kill your baby in the abortion clinic so that you could keep a job, you are eating your baby.
That's right.
You took your baby to the abortion clinic so that they could make $1,000 off of your baby. I'm sorry. Yeah, $1,000 off of your baby. And you now took it, sold it, and kept your job, and now you got another paycheck. That paycheck was for killing that baby. So you ate that baby. You're still eating that baby. And that's why, sisters, we got to help us. We got to turn back to Christ and help us. And there's also why Christ didn't give it to everybody. He said, I'm not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right.
He said that because you need that help. Everybody else is playing you. And they're doing it masterfully because you killing your own baby. Meanwhile, they just want you to work harder. They need you to work more so they can make more, so they can get more rich. When that's not God's plan for you. That is not God's plan for you. Okay, that was a good one right there, Marah. You going anywhere else?
Just the end of it. There's a little bit more.
Please finish it.
Makan. And straightness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates.
You see that? that you're going to hate your babies. Read the whole thing again for me, Marah, because that's such a powerful verse. Of course, goes along with the other verses about killing these babies. But that's such a powerful verse for us to take inside our bosom that the Lord has gave. And let me explain something to you, blacks and Latinos, you don't understand. And Christianity is why you don't understand this. The Bible is not for everybody. The Bible was to help you. That's for you. They running around reading the Bible, got white preachers and all these heathens, Africans running around touting the Bible and talking about Jesus and God. They done wore Christ's name out. Jesus this and Jesus that. They wore it out. And so everybody looks at it like it's a book for everybody. Like it's for all mankind. That's not why that book is here. That book is your personal constitution for you and your people, man. And you should take it and love it and learn from it and grow from it for yourself, for you and yours. Everything ain't for everybody. You don't let the neighbors have a barbecue in your front yard. You tell them go to theirs. You don't let anybody come and sit on your stoop and smoke weed. You tell them go sit on your stoop. You don't let anybody walk into your house during dinner time and sit down and say, can I get a plate? They got to be invited in. So why do you act like the Bible is some universal book for everybody? It ain't for everybody. It was only for the lost 12 tribes. Other people will be offended when you read the book. When we open up this Bible on the street, people are offended. They're offended because it ain't got nothing to do with them. It's about how to deal with them. Let me explain to you what I mean. Let's say you on the job, right? And one of your work co-workers that you really confide and trust in, they're a black man like you, and they come over to you and they say, hey, listen, man, I just want to give you a heads up. Them Africans that's working over there, okay, they are running scams on all the black employees, and they stealing their money out of their lockers. So I want you to be careful of that. Now, the brother that hear that will be like, yo, man, good looking out. I'll make sure I don't let them steal and break in my locker. He's going to like that. But what if while he was telling you that, there was an African on the other side of the booth saying, listening to the conversation? Is that African that hears that conversation, is he going to like what that brother said? No, he's not going to like what that brother said, because that brother is warning you for what they are potentially going to do. That's what it is. That brother is warning you for you. The heathen hear it, they're going to hate it because they're the ones harming you. Well, guess what? This scripture that Moses just read, which I got to have Marah read one more time because it's so good. It tastes so good in my mouth. It's like good cognac. It tastes so good to hear Marah read this scripture. And I want you to put that in your mind. Here is Moses after we left Egypt, after he finally got us out of hell in Egypt, where the Lord called the iron dungeon of Egypt. He got us out of there. Now he's warning us about what would happen to us if we fell into the hands of another nation for not obeying the Lord. We're supposed to take that for us. We ain't supposed to pass that around to the other nations and say, look, God said this for everybody. Dummy. They're going to use that to harm you. Because that African going to now go back and say, hey, Mutubu, yeah, that other employee, he telling everybody what we're doing. We got to get rid of him. Get rid of him, man. Fire him. Because he's going to tell everybody. That's what he's going to say. He's going to get rid of the man that's telling you everything. Why you think they hate us? They hate the Israelite school, UPK, because we're the man telling you what to watch out for. In your own book. Read it for him. I'll give it to him. One last time, y'all. Bear with me.
In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 57. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege. And
in the siege. Stop right there for a second, Marasalaki. In the siege. What is a siege? A siege is when an army from another nation or an enemy comes and surrounds you in your fortification, behind your castle or behind your brick walls or whatever the case is, and they now try to penetrate your defenses so they can kill you. That's called a siege. And that siege is done usually to a whole city. Okay? That's what a siege is. That's what you see going on in Ukraine. When they say the Russian army is sieging on Mariupol, or the Russian army is sieging on Lviv, or the Russian army is sieging on Odessa. That means that they're surrounding that city and they're bombing that city to break through their fortifications. The Lord is saying, if you don't obey him, that those nations that seek to kill you in those sieges, they're going to have you eating your babies.
Right.
And that's what this empire has done. This empire has had you under siege for 400 years. And because they've had you under siege, you killing your babies thinking that's what you need to do to survive. And it is against the Most High in Christ. And it is a terrible thing. Go ahead, Doc. Just finish it out and we can move on. I'm going to get to Kevin saying I'm running out of time. Go ahead.
And straightness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates.
See that? Where your enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. They putting them abortion clinics. They admitted it when they was brought to Congress. Planned Parenthood admitted it when they was brought to Congress that they opened up abortion clinics in predominantly Black and Latino neighborhoods. You are under siege. You are under siege. That's a lot of Black deaths, a lot of Latino deaths, man. There is a lot of people dying, man. That is a lot of people dying. And because the empire has made it as though it's a fetus, it's not a person, you don't even look at it and say there's massive genocide and murder going on in this empire. And you best believe the judgment is coming back on it. Come on with it. Let's go.
Count on one con, sir.
Give me that article on Kevin Samuels. You ain't got you don't have another charger over there, do you?
Yes, sir. Count on
one I can use on this phone by any chance?
Is it an iPhone?
No, it's a regular phone. Well, I'm an Android. No? If not, don't worry about it. Go ahead. Let's keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt with that. Come on with it.
On one con.
Yeah.
Salaki. Hold on. Just move this down.
It's all right.
Kevin Samuels, a polarizing YouTube personality, dies at 57. Styling himself as an image consultant, Mr. Samuels aimed his advice at Black men and women, drawing a large following and a chorus of detractors who commended his views as outdated and cruel.
Yeah, they looked at him as cruel, and then there was another side that looked at him as wonderful, and both sides loved him and hated him, a little bit of each, because he was trying, in his ignorant way, he was trying to show Black people how to have a relationship, how to get a relationship with what he called a high-value man. I'm going to show you a high-value man in these scriptures, and I'm going to show you how a high-value man operates. I'm going to show you women how to get a high-value man, in a way that Kevin didn't understand. What Kevin was trying to show Black women was that they should not go after a high-value man if they themselves was not a high-value woman, which is the absolute most dumbest thing you could ever tell a woman. To tell a woman to not go and get the best man she could get is lunacy, number one. Number two, it's against her human nature. It's her human nature to pick a mate the best she can. So why would you tell her to go against her human nature? Instead, why not teach her how to be a high-value woman? so she can always go get a high value man. Every single one of those women that came on Kevin Samuel's show, every last one of them could have become a high value woman. The problem is you only consider a high value man based on his money. You know how many horribly rich people they are? How many horrible people they are that's rich? You know how many disgusting, vile animals are wealthy, man? Go to Hollywood, man. Go hang out in Hollywood for a minute. Go hang out in Washington, D.C. and see some of these rich black people that are all up in the politics of the United States. Go look at some of the lives of these entertainers and these sports figures and these businessmen. Some of them are living horrible, disgusting lifestyles. But you're not weighing that in when it comes to calling that person a high value man. And they meet all the criteria that Kevin Samuel said. They have a group of high value men they work with. They have they contribute to the community. Money of them give away to charity and things like that. They do all those things, and they still horrible people. And they still got philosophies that are of Satan, mainly that Christian church. They still ignorant as hell when it comes to life and how life should work. Tons of that. So you trying to match a rich man claiming him a high value with a woman that has a certain look and a certain attitude as high value and match the two of them together, and both of it is wrong. What Kevin should have did was fall back to what he was quoting. He would quote the scriptures at times, but would not adhere to what the scriptures call high value men and women. And it has nothing to do with money. You understand? It has absolutely nothing to do with money. And let me tell you something else too. It is a little sick to think that if you are a wealthy black man, that you must have a certain economically successful black woman. You are a fool. You are a dumbass, because you could go and get a rich black woman that's a complete monster. You don't believe me? Go check out all the high-profile divorces in Hollywood. Those was rich black women married to some rich black man and divorced him, and half the men damn near committed suicide. You see Johnny Depp? Johnny Depp's woman is an actress and a millionaire. Right or wrong, Marah?
Khan.
She's an actress and a millionaire, and climbed up on top of his head and defecated on his head while he was in the bed sleep. Listen, I thought I heard it all, Marah, but that one there took me over the top. And she was so-called high value. She was so-called nice looking in the white world, successful actress, well-educated, and she was a complete sociopath on him, not to mention him. He's also so-called high value, full of finances, wealth, all of that. And look at him. Now, you know who I'm going to next. I'm going to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Who you think I'm going to next? That so-called Will Smith is so-called a high-value man. And Jada Pinkett is so-called a high-value woman. That's not what makes you high value, man. And that's why we fail in this place. The other nations can do what they want to do, but the children of the Lord cannot do what they want to do. Your constitution is what you got to follow in them scriptures, and they don't conflict with America. They do not conflict with America, man. America don't have no problem with all the things that the Lord have shown us in these scriptures. They may not like it, but it's not illegal. Do you know how many rich, so-called high-value men are child molesters, man? Every time you turn on the news, there is some rapist or some child molester that's wealthy as hell. They came out with it this week that down in North Carolina, this happened not this week, but they got convicted today. This brother and his wife took a 13-year-old girl, married her, so-called married her, and started having sex with her. And that's because you fake Israelites that are teaching men that they can rape a 9-year-old girl. You out there putting poison in the world, and that's destroying more blacks and Latinos. Because they said that they identified themselves as Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites don't rape, man. You come up in here and pretend to be a Hebrew Israelite and rape a girl, we gonna deal with you, man, if it's true. We got to check the allegations, because allegations be false many times. Many times them allegations be false. That is not part of the adherence of the scriptures, man. We obey the law of the land in this empire. That's our job. Go ahead, Marah.
If I may, sir, speaking of identifying and speaking of rich people that's quote unquote high value, I got a picture of Dwayne Wade and his family with the boy that's a girl that's married to a girl that's a boy, but they high value. This is how he's high value man.
That's both of them.
Supposedly.
Her too.
Count on my God.
She high value too.
Right.
Right? They both wealthy, successful, give to their communities, have a group of rich friends that endorse them and support them. Meanwhile, their child is having a relationship with a I don't even know. I think it's a woman. It is a woman. I give him that.
It's a girl.
It's a woman. It's a woman dressed like a man while he dresses like a woman, I believe. Correct? Some mixed up mental madness is what they dealing with. So that's the big mistake. Now I'm gonna give you a story right quick while we got a little time. Give it to me, Mariah, if you can. Give me Boaz. Give me Boaz, and then give me the sister that built the small room for Elijah where he would come through. But give me this one first. I'm gonna show you some high, and then give me both of those. I'm gonna read both of these. I'm gonna show you a high value man, and I'm gonna show you a high value woman. Let me set the backdrop for you. Okay. Ruth had lost her husband, came back to her own country with her mother-in-law, was poor and broke and had nothing. Somebody that Kevin Samuels would say is not high value. She was poor, broke, a widower, no children, very little up in age because of course, no, she was still young. Very little prospects. Came back to Jerusalem. But here's what she did as a high value woman to a high value man. Go ahead.
Khan Khan. This is the book of Ruth, chapter 3 and verse 7. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn.
Now, let me explain to you Boaz. Boaz was a brother in her country, an Israelite, our people. One of her near kinsmen. One of near kinsmen is like a distant cousin. That's a near kinsman. He was a near kinsman but he was wealthy. He had land, he had crops, he had good business. He was a high value man. He had good morals. He had, as you read the story, he had friends that also were well-to-do that he communicated with. He was charitable. He was everything you would describe as a high-value man. Let's see what he did in this situation with this poor, so-called low-value sister. Go ahead.
Khan. And she came softly.
She did what?
And she came softly.
She came softly. Go ahead.
And uncovered his feet.
A broke woman came softly and uncovered his feet. Go ahead.
And laid her down.
And laid herself down at that man's feet. Go ahead.
And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself. And behold, a woman lay at his feet.
Right. Told you this was a high value man. You have to have, didn't Kevin say you got to have certain dignity and carry yourself a certain way. This was a high value man, Boaz. He woke up, saw a woman at his feet, and became afraid. Like, yo, whose wife is this? Whose woman is this? Why is she in my bed? Why is she at my feet? That's a man of dignity. He didn't wake up and say, ooh, what's this? I got money. Let me get this thing. Unfortunately for Kevin, that's what Kevin did. Kevin brought in a Instagram model and laid her at his feet. And God knows what he took to deal with that plus size thing. And it stopped his heart. But Boaz, being a high value man, he was afraid to have a strange woman that he didn't know in his bed. He looked at that like, whoa, he's not a cat that just is vile. He's a high value man. Go ahead.
Count on one con. Verse 9. And he said, who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thine handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman.
She came to him and said, man, look, spread your skirt over, meaning in other words, take me in and have sex with me and marry me, because I am your near kinsman. Meaning it's legal. You all right. If you take me to wife and have sex with me, ain't nobody gonna move on you because you're within the law of the near kinsman. And in our nation, being so right, I love our nation. I'm telling you, I love this book. I love our nation. I love everything we have. I can't wait to see it again, man. And you got to love it if you want the kingdom of heaven, because that's what Christ is bringing. You say you serving Christ, but you want this kingdom, you backwards. The Lord said the love of this kingdom is enmity with the Lord. You got to love that kingdom you reading about there. You can't want a high value man in this kingdom. You should want a high value man according to that kingdom. And in our kingdom, if a sister lost her husband or something like that, any old Joe Blow couldn't just marry her. You couldn't have just been like, oh, sis, I see your husband died. What's up? My name Taboo, let's holler. No, you couldn't do that. It had to be a near kinsman to her to come along and marry. We had dignity in our nation, man. We had rules that made us successful, man. We had principles that the Lord made us a part of him with. And that's why she said that to Boaz, to put him at ease. She saw that he was startled, thinking that he was in there, that he got drunk and messed with a woman that he wasn't supposed to mess with. So she put him at ease to say, no, you all right. You ain't did nothing wrong. You can come and deal with me. I want to marry you. Now check out Boaz. Here's a high value man to come back and deal with this sister. Here's how he handled it. Go ahead, Murad. Read on down for me.
Got on one con. Verse 10. And he said, blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast shewed more kindness in the latter end.
Stop. He said, you blessed my daughter. You showed me more kindness in the latter end, because he dealt with her earlier when she came to him, when she needed food. She came to him, and he dealt with her earlier. I don't mean sexually. He dealt with, he helped her. He helped her and her mother out, knowing once again that she was his kinsman. She was broke and starving, just came back from another country. He didn't look at her and say, you low value. I can't do nothing for you. He looked at her and said, that's my people, man. Let me fill up your bag with bread and what you need. Take it back to you and your mother. She was so moved by Boaz being so kind to her that she watched Boaz go lay down and went and got down on her feet and laid down at that wealthy man's feet, man. That's what a high value woman would do in a time of trouble, man. She would go find that brother that would strengthen her, and she would humble herself before that brother, man. So don't tell me she didn't have to go back to school and get a degree. Go open up a business? Is that what she had to do?
Wow.
Become famous? She was broke, but she was high value without a dime and never needed a dime. And Boaz handled her well. Said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut it off. Read on, Marah. Let's give it to him.
In the latter end than at the beginning. And as much as thou followed this, not young men, whether poor or rich.
You hear what he said? Boaz said, man, you a deep sister. He said, because you didn't even look to say being young. You didn't even say, I'm going to go get me a young man. Being poor, you didn't even say, I'm going to go to somebody rich or I'm going to go to somebody poor. You showed kindness to me because I was kind to you. That's what Boaz saw. Boaz, being a high value man, he looked at her kindness. And in his eyes, she was heavy to Boaz because she reciprocated that kindness. That high value woman you want, she want you because you got a car, because you got money. She don't want you for no other. And if she got money, she wants you so she can get more money or make sure that don't nobody take her money. She don't want you because you kind to her, because you deal with her kindly. But this sister did. Ruth did, who went on to do amazingly things, brought forth David in her lineage, went on to do great things. Give me a little bit more, Mariah, if you could.
Got on Khan, verse 11. And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to thee all that thou requirest.
I'm going to marry you, Ruth. I'm going to marry you for being such a high-value woman, even though you're broke. Go ahead.
For all the city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman.
Damn. You hear what he said? Now, this is a broke woman. He just had to feed her. But he said the whole city know that you are a decent woman. A virtuous woman means like a decent, pure woman. A woman that has virtue, gives forth good things. She's caring. She knows where to place her emotions correctly. She's kind. She's caring. You understand? She's considerate. Not she ain't Jada Smith. She ain't that. Go ahead.
That was it, sir.
And Boaz turned around and went through all the proper channels, checked with his kinsmen, did all that he needed to do, and eventually, through the grace and the mercy of the Lord, he went and married her. Ruth was a high-value woman, and she didn't have a dime. Boaz ain't say nothing about how beautiful she was. Boaz ain't say, what's your waist size? What's your height? What's your age? Boaz ain't asked none of that. You know why Boaz ain't asked none of that? Because he knew something Kevin Samuels did not. That to pick a high-value woman out, you don't pick a high-value woman based on her waist size. That is as carnal as you possibly can be. If all you see is her beauty, that is as carnal as you possibly could be. And Christ said this, it is a small thing to add one cubit to a man, meaning it's nothing to raise you up, make you a cubit taller. It's nothing for you to get a rib and get her in shape. You don't like her waist size. If she's high value, according to the scriptures, you will change her waist size. Everything that you looking for in her, if she's high value, you got a chance at getting her. Think I'm lying? Go check the divorce rate in the United States of America among blacks and Latinos. Go check it out. All you Christians that think you know something. He didn't know what he was talking about. He was trying to match brothers and sisters based on carnality instead of going back to our records and finding out how you find a high-value woman. You find a high-value woman by her actions. Let me give you another high-value woman in the scriptures. You got that other one for me, Mariah?
Count on one con, sir. Yes, I do.
You holding something else? Sound like you got something else you want to pull.
No, I got this, but General Q this in another story. I don't know if you want to do it.
Okay, I can't queue. I got 2 minutes. I got to drop this scripture and then I'm out. I had to do it another time. So, like Saturday, Lord allow, for everybody that's listening, I hope y'all will join Saturday. I don't know if I'll be there, but all the brothers from DC and them and all will get it in Kaposh, all of them California, all of them be down there throwing it down on Saturday, man. They got a hell of a show. Big shout out to Meshach, my young. Come on with it, Marad. Give me the second high-value sister.
It's in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 4, verse 10.
And there's many high-value women in these scriptures. You got to know how to get a high value. And rather than trying to tell a woman to settle for something else, let's teach her to be a high-value woman. And then let's teach brothers what a real high-value man is. Let's teach them what a real high-value man is. And then we'll have high-value men and women. Go ahead. And then if I could, and if we have high-value men and women and some of them happen to be poor, then guess what? We'll add what the Lord said about not killing our babies, and we'll recover billions and billions of dollars back to our nation. And guess what? Then we'll have enough money for everybody. And we won't have to worry about who don't have no money and what nobody don't have. We stop killing 11,000 babies in one abortion clinic across this country, and we'll have all the money we need. We'll have billions of dollars. And then every brother will be a high-value brother, and every sister will be a high-value sister. And then we can teach them what makes you a high-value man and sister. Don't tell me the Lord can't do it. You Christians have failed God's people. Go ahead, Marah, before I run out of time.
Khan, it's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 4, verse 8. And it fell on a day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread.
Now, this was a great woman, meaning she was wealthy and powerful. She was known, and she constrained him to eat bread. Told him, man, you look, brother, you coming through here, man, doing all this traveling, and you starving. You got to eat something, man. Sit down. Like sometimes, like your grandmama do. You get ready to run out the door. Yeah, grandmama, I'm going to play ball. She, whoa, boy, sit down. You got to eat something. You running out there every day, you ain't eating. She make you go eat something because she see you neglecting yourself for the mission you got at hand. Sometimes your wife do it. Wife see you running for days and could say, I'm going to cook him a steak or something because I see he ain't eating. He's just running all day. Some of these amazing sisters go out and feed the camp on the weekend. They know you out there all day. They know you out there hours on end. So in their wisdom, they say, let me go on and cook them some food. This was a high-value woman. She didn't know him. She just stopped him. Saw him, kept coming through there on his travels and stopped him and made him sit down. Now, this is a grown-ass man. But she made him sit down and eat. Read on, Marah.
Khan. And so it was that as oft he passed by, he turned in thither to eat bread.
You hear that? So now, every time he passed by, he went by her house to eat. That is a high-value woman. That high-value woman was caring for brothers who had no commitment or obligation to her. She sought out how she could take care of them brothers. That, my brother, is a high-value woman. Go ahead.
And she said unto her husband, behold, now I perceive that this is an holy man of God, which passeth by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee.
Whoa, stop right there, Marah. That's a high value woman. She saw this cat passing through and just start feeding him. And then he would stop by every time and eat. And she turned around and said, wait a minute. She said to her, now she's married, so you can know this ain't about no lust because she's already married. And in our kingdom, it's a death penalty offense to commit adultery. So she wasn't trying to sleep with him. She was just trying to feed a brother. And she turned around and said to her husband, I think this guy is a man of God. I don't think he's just a regular guy. And that's what you sisters can't see when you see them brothers on them streets with them boots on and them jeans on. You don't see that they a man of God right away. But when they open their mouth enough and teach you this truth and bring forth this knowledge, that's when you start to see, whoa, these are men of God. When they counsel you, when they fix your life, when they set your marriage right, counsel your children, bless you, help you, show you the scriptures and how to serve the Lord, then you start seeing, whoa, these are men of God. Well, this sister saw it in him. She saw and perceived he was a man of God and went further than feeding him, told her husband, let's build him a room. So when he come through, not only can he eat, but he could also sleep here and have some privacy. This sister was working in the spirit of the Lord. She was high value. It said she was what? A great woman. She was a great woman, meaning she was already wealthy and powerful. That's why she was able to feed him. That's why she was able to build him a room, because she was already wealthy. It says she was a great woman. Something to that effect earlier in the story. So she was a high value woman, and she didn't say, how much money you got? She didn't say that to him. She didn't ask how much what he had. Read on, Mariah.
And let us set for him there a bed and a table and a stool and a candlestick. And it shall be when he cometh to us that he shall turn in thither.
Go ahead.
And it fell on a day that he came thither, and he turned into the chamber and lay there. And he said to Gehazi, his servant, called the Shunammite.
Shulamite. She was a Shulamite from that area. Go ahead.
And when he had called her, she stood before him, and he said unto him, say now unto her, behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done for thee?
Brother, that is high value. He said, remember, now we find out that he wasn't even by himself. He had other brothers with him. And he told them, yo, call her, man, over here. She gave them their space and everything. They in the room, they sleeping, eating, got candle, this, that. She ain't even around. She ain't looking for no glory. She ain't sitting there trying to parlay back and forth over no scriptures. She ain't trying to get up on the podium and be a preacher. She wasn't nowhere around. She set them up, fixed them up, and kept it real with them. And then they said, well, go call her. And here's what he said to her. Go ahead.
What then is to be done for her?
Right. He said to her, you took careful care of us. Meaning she made sure that they had everything that they needed. She was high value. And the proof that the reason he's calling her in there is because they ain't give her no money for this. That's why he's asking her, what can I do for you? Because you did all this for us. So she was taking care of a man that ain't had no money for her. And she was a high value woman. Now, according to Kevin Samuel's philosophy, that ain't supposed to work. According to Kevin Samuel's philosophy, he should have went and tried to find a poor village girl because he was broke. Him and them cats was poor. He shouldn't have been trying to, hang out with a high value woman. Go ahead.
If I may, sir, can I drop down, which is so important?
Go ahead.
So he asked her, what should be done unto thee? And he talked to his servant. And this is what the servant said. And he said, what then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, verily, she have no child, and her husband is old. I'm gonna drop down some more.
Damn, wait, Mariah, wait, too much in there. Her husband is old, and she ain't had no child. And her husband was already old. So she was a young girl, married an older brother, became famous, known throughout the city, obviously had some wealth, still ain't have no child, and took care of poor brothers. Damn, she was heavy. Go ahead, Mariah. Go on the drop.
Verse 16, and he said about this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, nay, my Lord, thou man of God, do not lie unto thine handmaid.
You hear that? She said, because listen, why did she say don't lie to thy handmaid? Because that's what she wanted. She didn't have a son, but she wanted a son badly. And that's why when he said that, she said, don't lie to me, man. You a man of God. Be straight with me. Go ahead, Op.
This is the last part, sir.
Go.
And the woman conceived and bare a son at that season that Elisha had said unto her, according to the time of life.
And so the Lord blessed her through that prophet, Op, because she was a high value woman that took care of brothers that had nothing. And she didn't look down on them. She didn't treat them less. She took careful care of them and looked for nothing in return. And because of it, the Lord shined on her. That's a high value woman. And that's a high value man. And that's what we should be instilling in us. You want a high value man, sister, get a high value man, whether he's broke or rich. Get a high value man that adheres to these laws, statutes, and commandments. And I ain't talking about one in them churches. All them sodomites hiding out, pretending like they straight men in that church. You going up in there thinking you getting a Kevin Samuels, a high value man, and you getting a sodomite up in there, you know, with them tight suits on. You getting the damn sodomite up in there, or an ex-sodomite or a pre-sodomite or whatever other madness they dealing with. You understand? Unfortunately for him, you understand, he tried, it looked like he tried to come out of that, but couldn't, or maybe he just saw an opportunity. Who the hell knows? The point is, why don't we make all of us high-value men and women? And not based on the money that we have, but based on all the great things we can do as a people to make us all high value, man. That would please the Lord and give us nothing but blessings from the Father above. That is our obligation according to our own Constitution. So with that, go ahead, Marah Salaki.
Bubba Kashaw, if I may, sir, please, if I could. If I may, what you bring out so heavy because a real high value woman, no matter what they have, they want the thing that every woman should want, and that's to bear children. This real high value woman get money, but want to raise a child, whether they poor or rich. Mary, John the Baptist's mother and father, like a high value woman ain't or a high value man ain't somebody that's focused on money. Like they tell, like the whole thing they push in America is kill this baby because your money is stopping you.
Right.
You need this money. You can't. How you gonna do this? How you gonna pay for that? How you gonna get this in life? When really the real biblical high value man and woman, whether the money or no money, poor or rich, they value their children. They value the lives of their youth, and that's why the curse was that you're gonna eat them for the opposite. Instead of getting everything you want and wanting a child in the end, you're gonna get nothing and kill the baby. But that's not a high value man or woman. A high value man or woman is the exact opposite. You become great in the land, but really you want to raise up seed, if I may, sir.
Brother, what you said is so heavy and so right, Marah. That is exactly what we're trying to say, and it is exactly what everybody should see. We add that to us, we'll all be high value men and women because we'll have a moral level that is unmatched and the other nations will see it. If we just stop abortion, it would hurt the U.S. economy. Meaning it would hurt the economy, but who would it empower and enrich? Blacks and Latinos, the same one killing the babies. It would empower and enrich you like you've never seen before. You understand? And that's why, once again, like I use the analogy of the guy, the co-worker, we got this book got to be looked at by us. And we gotta take what's in here for us, not for everybody else. You understand? This ain't for everybody else. So with that, listen, join me every Monday night, Wednesday night, Saturday night, 9 p.m. on this channel. We do it up live. ISUPK.com is the website. I want to encourage you to support the truth. Please pay your tithes. Support the truth, man. Take care of us in this I.S.U.P.K. so we can further this truth. I'm Commander General Yahanna, rolling with Officer Marad tonight, having a good time. I hope you had as good a time as I did. I'll see y'all next time, y'all, on the UPK. Shalom.
Thank you.